a.m. Pacific. Welcome, everybody. This is also broadcast live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I know we missed last Monday. Hopefully, everyone had a nice Labor Day with their family. This week's guest is none other than Mr. Anthony Dezette. Those of you that have seen any of my podcasts on my site, you may have seen my interview with Anthony. I met Anthony, I don't even want to tell him how long ago, because I think it's a long time ago right now, with one of your fellow loan officers. Anthony at the time was working at Keller Williams in New Orleans, in the greater New Orleans area. And I met him because he was one of the great partners. Y'all hear me talk about partnering with a loan officer by the name of Hung Lee, who's a very, very high market share having loan officer in New Orleans. And Anthony and I looked at each other, and Anthony at the time also had a site called Eating NOLA that he is successfully spun off right now to a couple other new friends of mine. And which meant he was doing a lot of social media stuff. And of course, we bonded very quickly over food. Those of y'all that know, that follow me, see what kind of damage I do. Per my wife, she doesn't think I work. She thinks I just travel around and eat food all over the place. So Anthony is now at EXP. I know this is the mortgage call, so we're not on here to talk real estate, but I wanted Anthony to come on because he really, his mind, he understands social media, and social media is a thing that makes me crazy. Those of y'all that have been through crush groups know that I cover social media and call 15 in my crush groups. And it just, I just constantly crack up when I see like one company do a post and every loan officer at the company that pays for the social media boost all has the same post, all up in my feed at 100 miles an hour. When I see loan officers, posting agents' listings, when I see things like that, these companies that literally sell social media services to loan officers, it just makes me crazy, because you don't need any of that if you understand really what's going on. And Anthony really, really gets it. He understands messaging. He understands how to connect, and he understands the do's and the don'ts. And so, Anthony, this is a loan officer call. Every once in a while, there'll be some agents on here, but for the most part, these are all mortgage people. I am starting, by the way, Anthony, an agent call, I think this Friday, because we got a lot of great feedback. We're going to do the same call for real estate agents, but these are loan officers. So imagine, would you see loan officers posting? I usually like to keep it to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I usually just don't mess with Twitter, just because I find people get so tied up in Twitter, they don't even do their real job anymore because they're so busy looking at it. But I'd love to just talk a little bit about some do's and don'ts. Anthony, your Eating NOLA went from day one to how long did it take you to get to 100,000 followers?
About 2 years, went to 100,000 followers. And the interesting part about it, guys, is that it wasn't easy, and that's what I think a lot of people, when we're starting their social media plan, they post a picture, they put little to no effort, involvement, engagement into it, and expect it to really take off. I see it all the time, and that's a huge part of social media, is that, you have to show it a lot of love. Because I tell people all the time with Eating NOLA, I literally spent tens of thousands of dollars to get it off the ground. Okay. And it wasn't in marketing. Okay. I didn't spend a penny in marketing. You know what I spent it on? Food. And I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars. The first year, I think literally I spent over $30,000 on food. Okay. Now, if you look at the ROI on that, it's kind of, why would you do that? But what happened is that I went and spent money, it gave me the ability to, one, meet people, two, take some badass photos and create engagement. And then it started to grow from there. And I literally, guys, went from, I don't know if any of y'all have been in New Orleans. Joel's been there 1,000 times. Joel knew when I was at the height of my Eating NOLA, if I walked into a restaurant, what would happen, Joel?
Everybody knew who you were. So I want to translate. I want to translate this a little bit. So, Anthony, when I met with Hung, I don't think Hung's on here right now. Hung had some Instagram handle that was like, New Orleans pro loan officer or something like that. And the first thing I did was I say, get rid of that. And he said, what do you mean? I said, that's not what you want. They all know you're a loan officer. What, do you want cold leads off the internet? No, you want to create a following. You want to engage people.
Right.
Your social media, by the way, everyone, is your personal billboard. It's not your lead generator necessarily. A lot of those leads are cold. It's your billboard. Okay. And he changed his name, and Anthony knows this story, to Pho Foodie. Pho, which we all of us dummies call it pho, but it's pho, like the soup, the pho, the Vietnamese pho Foodie. And that boy went from 2 followers to I can't tell you how many when he started concentrating on his family and whatever. And what it did is it just enhanced his loan business to the moon, the same way Eating NOLA enhanced Anthony's real estate business. But Anthony, talk about engagement. What does that mean? I don't think they understand. So many people don't understand what engagement means.
Well, I want to talk to you about Pho Foodie. So I got, hung that name. I helped him with that name, and it was Phoodie, Pho Foodie. Really, and that, what's cool about that, guys, it is something fun and trendy. Okay, people are going to follow things like that. Engagement, I mean, it's simply put, having conversations with people. I mean, if you're not spending, if you guys keep up with Gary Vee, he talks about his engagement plan where he has a conversation. I think he calls it the 90-cent rule, where he gives his 2 cents on people's conversations and continues to grow and does that every single day. Again, if you're on social media and you're not communicating with people, having conversations, going back and forth, it's not going to work. You literally might as well not even do it.
Anthony, do you remember what you said to me in the studio? I tell people this all the time on week 15. He sits there. Now, Anthony, by the way, all you're seeing is the beard or whatever. Anthony is not a tall man, but he's in the room when he's in the room. He's got these meaty little hands, right? And he says to me, he goes, Joel, when you like a photo but don't say anything, it's like you walked up to someone on the street, looked them in the eye, went like this, and walked by. And I was like, wow, that just seriously affected me. He was like, you didn't say anything. You just walked up to him. You just gave a thumbs up and walked by. He goes, that's all you're doing when you like someone's picture. You got to say what you like about it. You got to engage. Go ahead, Anthony. I just want to tell everyone that because
I get it, dude. I'll tell you, that's when I thrive the most, man. I'm in a conversation in these ideas are rolling. And guys, I'm no different than all of y'all. I'm just a student of the game always. I'm constantly learning. And I'll tell you, that's one of the more alpha moments in my life. I'll be honest with you, sitting in Joel's studio. And these are things that I've always think about, but it came to my mind and I pushed that thought to Joel where it was literally the same thing. If you're going and just liking someone's photo, it's literally, and I got a whole concept I'll share with y'all on this. It's literally like walking down the street, giving people a thumbs up and then walking away. Now, Joel mentioned something earlier, guys. This is something I coach on social media. Social media, Instagram, and these items are your billboard. Has anyone driven past a billboard in the last week? Raise your hand if you have.
I have.
Okay.
I think they all have.
How long of a time frame did you have to notice that billboard?
10 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe.
Okay. Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook is less than that. You're talking 2 to 3 seconds when people are scrolling. Okay. You want to know the really cool part about that? With a billboard, do you ever have the opportunity to go hit your brakes and hit reverse? You do if it's not on the interstate. You know what's cool about without Instagram? The Instagram algorithm really pays attention to people past your photo. Stop and go back to your photo. Okay. The alpha in this conversation is that your photo needs to look good. If you're taking some BS picture of, something related to your mortgage business, people are not going to stop, go back and look. You need to think about this. When you're driving down the street, what is something you see that makes you stop, jam your car into reverse, and go back and look at? Has anybody seen anything like that in the last couple of days? Okay, that is how you need to run your social media. And it takes a lot of thought, a lot of vision, a lot of preparation to do this. Like one of my guys, I have my international real estate sales team, Homes and City, Homes and Beach, Live Where You Live brands. And one of my guys the other day posted up, it was a sign of a lake. Okay, the sign, it said Lake blah blah blah.
We're
And
losing
I'm
you.
like, Dave. Yeah, my internet. Did that sign make you go, holy shit, that's amazing? No, the lake did. You guys get that idea, right? You need to post the wow factors, the wow moments in your life, and then you need to share it. Now, the interesting part is how do you tie that into your mortgage business? That's where you guys need to sort out how you're going to do this. That's where I think Joel had mentioned it's really not about mortgage, guys. It's not about sales. It's not about business. It's about finding something that you enjoy doing that you can merge your mortgage business into.
Anthony,
I.e., eating Ola.
I had a loan officer that worked for me years ago. I'm not going to say how years ago. I don't want to give my age because everyone knows I'm 32 years old.
Yep.
And he put a billboard up. Those of you on the East Coast, Ed Brem, okay, you know this, Rich, on 95 in Newark, Delaware, which is this little slice of Delaware, Anthony, when you're driving from Maryland to, say, New York City or New Jersey or to Philly, okay? You get this little slice, and he put a billboard up in front of MBNA headquarters. Remember MBNA, the credit card company, one of the most successful credit card companies ever? And all the billboard said was, "Where's Ed?" And his name was Ed. It just said, "Where's Ed?" And then the next month it said, "Who's Ed?" And then the next month it said, "Does anybody know Ed?" And then the next month he said, "Ed does loans." And he had like his mobile number on. It was one of the greatest. You would have been dying. You would have used it. An example is a huge billboard. And everyone just want to know what is going on here. What is going on here? It was absolutely incredible. But right before I cut Anthony off, he said, I used Eating NOLA to cross over into his real estate brand. And every single one of you all can do that once you understand. If you've been in a crush group with me and you've heard me yell at you about letting agents tag you and putting listings in your feed and all that stuff, me telling you people are unfollowing you on that crap. And I tell people, do a little drill, put one of your stupid posts about you like made President's Club or something, and look at everybody that liked it, all 48 people in your company, your mom and your spouse, and then put up a picture of a cat drinking milk, and there's 9,000 likes on there. Okay? If you want to prove it to yourself, then nobody wants to see that. They want to see interesting stuff, and they want to engage. Anthony, what are some things that you can do, that one can do every day? We're all holding our phones in our hands all day. What are things that successful social media people do every day like clockwork?
I'll tell you, there's a concept of it, okay, and you guys have heard of this. It's become an influencer. That's simply it. So you need to become an influencer. How you influence it? Could you be a mortgage influencer? Could you be a real estate influencer? Yes. I'll tell you what I've essentially turned our brands into is lifestyle. Okay. Just for example, and this is something that, are we going to figure out exactly what's going to be on this call? Absolutely not. This is something you have to critique, you have to test, you have to run. But the fact is, like, I've turned my brands now where we're specifically lifestyle brands, and I'm showing the life I'm living by being a real estate agent. I'm fortunate that I got a company that's allowed me to expand into a global market. I get passive income from it. I live a different life now because of it. Now I share that story. Okay. That's something you need to look and do. What are your hobbies? Does anybody here have a specific hobby? Like my dad, for example, my dad collects classic cars.
Pork belly.
What's the food concept again? But like my dad collects classic cars. He's got like 5 classic cars. People that collect classic cars typically have what?
Money.
Okay. Again, you want to get into a niche that, one, you like, 2, you're really involved in. I'll tell you, when I was selling real estate in Baton Rouge pre-Eating NOLA, okay, I stupidly bought a crazy expensive Porsche. Okay. Dumbest purchase of my life. I tell that story many times. But the fact is, you know what it did? It got me into an exotic car club when people had McLarens and Lamborghinis and all this crazy shit. And back then, Instagram really wasn't popular. But if it was, guys, I mean, that whole niche would have taken off, and people who drive McLarens and, you know, on that kind of shit typically have money. Okay. So, you know, that's where you got to think about what is your concept. I'll tell you, if you guys, I don't know if anybody's on TikTok. Okay. TikTok is huge, huge. Okay. I'm not getting into TikTok, but I'm going to tell you, it's a huge opportunity. There's one kid out there, Dan something, I think, and he more or less goes up to people and he goes to their car and he says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" And he gives you, you know, McLaren, $800,000. He tells you what it is and asks people what they do for a living. Okay. Think about this. Okay, this is just a thought. What if you went to a house and asked people, knocked on the door and said, "What do you do for a living?" You know, there's things you can do to get in front of people and them know who you are.
Anthony, what about the people that tell me this all the time? And they'll tell it to me privately. They won't say it in a group because they're embarrassed. That's my private business. I don't want anybody, you know, that's like my Facebook is my private business. I don't want, and I tell them, I'm like, but wait a second, your job is to find people who know people who want to buy or sell a house or need a mortgage, and then get them to refer the people to you. Don't you want these people to get to know you? Your job is to create a set of new best friends. And they kind of look at me and they're like, well, I don't want them seeing my, and I'll say to them, hey, I get it. Some people have their kids all over social media, like Hung. Okay. And other people don't. All right. And that's fine. That's your choice. But if you don't want to share, then why would people share with you? Do you agree with that comment?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to put yourself out there. I've never was a person big on selfies for years until I started eating NOLA, until I got into my own Instagram account, which I really don't update mine anymore. I go towards a different brand. But the fact is, it took a lot for me to go out and do that. And I'll tell you, the transformation for me, guys, you want to know what's kind of funny is that was going on Joel's podcast. Okay. Went on Joel's podcast, came back home. When he released the podcast, I was like, holy shit, where's my neck? Like literally, I was like 60, 70 pounds heavier than I am right now when I went on Joel's podcast. And I'll tell you, if you look at my Instagram from Joel's podcast to my Instagram, it was my fitness journey to get in shape. And it really helped me because, you know what? I didn't feel good about myself at the time. I'll be honest with you. You know, I didn't feel good. I was going through a transition in my business. You know, I got healthy. I feel better. And that was a big part of my mindset, Joel. And when you say that, when people say this, maybe dig a little deeper, guys, because it might not be that you don't feel like sharing it, but it might be where you're at in your life personally or mentally that you're not willing to share because how
often we know that the number one social media thing with agents, just based it on even their age, is really Facebook. How often should they be like looking at their Facebook and making comments, sincere comments on their partner's posts? I mean, is that a couple of times a day? I mean, what should they be doing?
Nonstop. I mean, it depends on what you're looking to do, what you're looking to accomplish, guys. But I mean, if you really want to take your influence, okay, and this is what this is, to a next level, you need to create massive engagement. Again, like I said about eating NOLA, you know, I spent almost $30,000 the first year in eating NOLA. Who's willing to spend $30,000 in a year's time on their social media? Okay, and I'm not talking about ads, because again, you're paying for ads. That's like burning, that's lighting money on fire. I'm talking about spending $30,000. Has anybody, okay, just give you a baseline of this. Has anybody read the book 7 Levels of Communication? If you haven't, as a loan officer or a real estate agent, you better go buy that damn book right now. 7 Levels of Communication, Michael Barr. And he's going to tell you exactly what you spend that $30,000 on. It's not ads. It's not billboards. It's not radio. It's people. In 7 Levels of Communication, he literally talks about going to a restaurant, meeting people in the same place, having this organization, you know, all built together. I tell a funny story is that I used to follow the 7 Levels of Communication. I literally quit spending. I do not spend a penny on internet leads. I had billboards at one time, but I'll tell you a funny story is that reading this book, building my social media presence, and this all kind of ties in together. So I was building eating NOLA. I'm selling my real estate thing. Well, you guys may not know this guy, but there's a world famous chef named Aaron Sanchez. Anybody knows who he is? Anybody watches like Top Chef? He's on there with Gordon Ramsay. Long story short, I was able to sell Aaron Sanchez his house. Okay. And literally he's on all these crazy ass TV shows. Well, my whole 7 levels of communication concept, building influence via social media, meeting people and connecting people because of this book at one restaurant. You pick a restaurant, you meet every damn client, every past client, everybody there. Why do you guys think you do that? Because the people there know you. When you walk in the door, and Joel knows this place, St. Roch Market. When I would walk in the door at St. Roch Market, and I don't mean this in an egotistical way, but it's literally people would freaking start throwing food at me. 1, because they knew I was eating NOLA. 2, they knew I brought all of my clients there, and they treated me like gold, and I spent a lot of money. Well, I tell you, the part about Aaron Sanchez is that I'm literally meeting with a client right there. I'm talking to him. And as I'm talking to my client, Aaron comes up to me, slaps me in the back. Hey, Anthony, what's up, man? Blah, blah. And my client goes, holy shit, you know Aaron Sanchez? Guys, social proof. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok will not get you just that if you don't put the effort into it. Okay.
Okay. So I want to unpack that. I want to unpack this a little bit because his internet is going in and out just a little bit. Okay. So everybody.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Engagement means exactly what Anthony is saying. Okay. You're looking at your agent partner's Facebook and they put a picture of their kid playing soccer, okay, or at a soccer tournament or something, okay? You are sincerely, genuinely interested, and you engage. Wow, did they win? Wow, is that over at blah, blah, blah in the Highlands? Wow, where's that field? Wow, my kid plays soccer too. Whatever it is, that's called engagement, okay? A like, a heart, whatever, that is you acknowledging that you saw the post, okay? But the reality of it is you did not engage in any way. If your job is to deepen relationships with your partners, the only way to deepen is by engaging. Now, I use the word sincere. It's a very important word, everybody. Sincere. This does not mean you sit and engage on a bunch of stuff you don't care about or you're superficial about. Engage with things that you care about. You're looking for best friends, which means you like them and they like you. Let me tell you something else Anthony didn't talk about a little bit, but he'll just nod because Anthony's taught me a whole bunch of stuff. So I travel all over the country. Before COVID, I was gone every week. And actually, since May, I've been gone every week right now. Those of you that follow me on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, you're seeing me all over the place, okay? So you put up a post, and I'm just going to use the number 100 just for a minute, okay? So 100 people scroll by your post. And typically of 100, maybe 8 or 9 will like it, and maybe 1 will actually comment. I think these are the numbers right now. They might be worse now, okay? Meaning it might be higher and less. But let me tell you something. I'm in, Boise, Idaho, in front of a group of real estate agents giving a presentation. I give a presentation. I'm standing there, and they bought a bunch of books, and I'm signing my books for the agents, and people are in line, and someone comes up and goes, man, that pork chop that you ate in Houston 6 months ago, wow, that looked incredible. And I'm like, who are you? Okay. Yep. Meaning they didn't like it. They didn't engage, but they saw it. So if you don't think people aren't seeing it, you're wrong. The more crap they see, the less they want to see. And on Facebook, you can hit the little button called unfollow. You're not unfriending, you're unfollowing. You don't know that they unfollowed you. You put a bunch of crap in there that is not interesting, you will be unfollowed. Okay? Let me help y'all out. The fact that you made President's Club, not interesting. Okay? If your company is putting stuff in your feed like that, that is not interesting. Turn that off. Nobody cares. They will unfollow you. Your porcelain doll collection, interesting. Okay? Your kid's soccer game, interesting. How long you sous vide a pork chop? Interesting. Okay. All of these things are interesting. The fact that you made President's Club, not interesting. Nobody cares. In fact, it's usually negative. Okay. I would challenge everybody. All right.
I'll tell you, you want to know, am I losing?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Take it.
If you guys are on Instagram, okay, think about this. You're on Instagram and your avatar, I mean, your target is real estate agents. How
Correct.
many of those real estate agents posts are you sharing on your stories on a daily basis? So literally, if you're following 100 real estate agents, if you started every day posting, and you don't even do it on your feed, you do it on your story because it's a 24-hour. You do that every single day. You catch the attention of these people, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what you do. You go after, like Hung, for example. Hung and I got in business by accident, but Hung and I had such an amazing business that we both prospered together and grew together. And that's what you got to find, those people who are hungry and going to be willing to grow together with you. Okay?
But Anthony, hold on. I'm not letting you go by this fast because I can't see everyone's face, but boy, what a great idea if you're on this call right now. Okay. So if you're on Instagram, and of course, if you are, you're following a whole bunch of real estate agents. Okay. And if you just start everybody with your platoon in your company, you don't have to do it with people you don't know that well. Just do it with the people you know. Okay. And Anthony, tell them exactly. So what you do is they put a post up and then and they go to get technical for a minute. So they put a post up, Anthony, of something. Doesn't even matter what it is.
Real estate agents like to brag. Okay. You don't want to post a picture of their kids, but real estate agents do it all wrong. I coach Instagram to real estate agents all day long and they do it all wrong. They post just sold this house. They post 5,000 over asking. They do all the. They give you so much content that you could use. Okay, so you go through your feed and you see a real estate agent. You know they decent amount of volume, and they posted sold a house in 3 days. So awesome. Blah blah blah. Share that to your story. Post on it and tag them. Congrats, Billy, Susie, Frank, Paul, Chris, whatever their name is, on the sale of the home. Do that every time they post something. Stalk them.
Okay, now listen, in your stories, everyone, in your stories, important. He said that really fast, in your story, so it doesn't sit in your feed forever. It's 24 hours and it's gone. Anthony, what a great, I knew if I kept him going long enough, even though y'all
that's
don't
what
know
happens. I mean,
he's sitting in a warehouse in Arkansas filled with hydroponic plants. Mr. Green Man. And doesn't leave his house. He's rolling the world from Arkansas, in the middle of Arkansas somewhere. So everybody, let's use that as a takeaway. Let me see the time. Oh my God, we're 1 minute over. Anthony, I'm brutal on not running these calls over. Everybody, what a great idea. You saved it for the end. If you didn't listen to the end, you missed that one. I dare everybody to do that. I dare you all to do that. Easy.
Just hit me on Instagram. I'm on
great
Instagram.
Idea.
Hit me up if you need
easy. Anthony Dezette, if they have a question, what's the best way for people to find you?
Just get me on Instagram, Anthony Dezette, just like my name. You can find me on there.
Anthony, D-A-Z-E-T, Anthony Dezette. He is great. You can see he's a great guy. He loves helping people. If you have a question, you can hit him directly. Everyone, it's a Big Joel Mortgage Community Call. If you're not doing your B2Bs right now, you are failing. This is going to be an epic fall market. The agents are all telling me they're super busy. Listings coming on. Rates are low. Get in front of your people. This ought to be epic. Thank you, everybody. Anthony, thank you so much. Awesome. Great idea. I will see everyone next Monday, 2 o'clock. See y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.